When you were a kid, did you and your family ever go on agonizingly long road trips? I know I did. A couple of times my mom would take me on those trips. She'd take me to EB Games or GameStop in the USA and buy my brother and I some games to play on the road. But instead of buying us Pokemon Emerald or something, she'd look in the bargain bin for Game Boy Color games worth like $3 each and buy a bunch. And we put up with them. For 16 hours at a time during those car rides, we'd have to put up with them. I've come across a few gems growing up, and today I feel like taking a trip down memory lane. Without further ado, I'm Liam Triforce, and these are some bargain bin Game Boy Color games. Let's start with a true classic, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Yeah, those games kick ass, right? Well, normally they would be amazing games, but Natsume made an adaptation of the original game for the Game Boy Color. They seem to be the most inconsistent developer in terms of quality, considering how much they sell out to make licensed games, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now. I mean, they made Harvest Moon. It's a pretty good game, right? Well, alright, the music seems fine enough. Not complaining yet. Oh god, this character select screen. Oh boy. I guess this is what happens when you try and make a portrait of someone through the Game Boy Color. Some of the skaters look okay, but some of them look bothersome. Bob Burnquist's shit-eating grin isn't very pleasant. It's kinda cool that all of the skaters were included in this version of the game, but their differing stats don't mean anything. Whereas in the console game, they made a big difference. Stats and basic mechanics are hindered by this game's basic incompetence at being a decent adaptation. Have you ever played Skate or Die, or those shitty levels from the Back to the Future game on NES? Then you've played this. The half-pipe mode is as basic as a skateboarding video game gets. Do basic tricks in a half-pipe for a set period of time, and rack up points. Ugh. In addition, the other mode is trash too. You skate along a street, sometimes racing other skaters, while avoiding obstacles. The controls are so unresponsive and god-awful, I can't even explain them. You'd have to play it yourself. They're abysmal. Jesus Christ, I feel sorry for anyone that had to play this on a road trip or something. I guess what I'm saying is, I feel sorry for myself. I'm sorry, but he's just dead. There's no way he survived that. Oh, I guess he did. Yeah, alright. Next game, please. Okay, so do you guys remember Nicktoons Racing on PS1 and PC? That was a decent game, wasn't it? At least I thought it was. Some people didn't think so, though. Oh, PlayStation Magazine. You old men. I remember playing it in the arcades as well at my local mall, before they decided to remove all the arcade machines for some stupid reason. But anyways, yes, they did actually make a Game Boy Color version. And this version came out first. I'm not kidding. This was the original version. That actually seems kind of interesting. Maybe it won't be so bad. Oh, gee, oh golly, oh gosh dang. This is just gonna be fucking awful, isn't it? Oh god, it's a shitty version of the Rugrats theme. Okay, here's an example of how the Game Boy sound chip can be used properly. And now here's this. This is just gross to listen to. I have to get the game going. Here's something odd. Instead of being able to see individual tracks and pick them, you pick a show, and then pick the track. There are individual track layouts that revolve around one theme, essentially. Pretty lazy and ass-backwards design, but the fun hasn't even started yet. Let's pick a character and... Oh my god. Where do I begin? First of all, the music doesn't get any better. I don't know how to describe it. Just take a listen. And you can't really hear it anyways over the obnoxious engine noises. The controls are a mess. These tracks were not designed for D-pad controls. Your movements are so sharp that turning is an ordeal. The tracks themselves are bland. There's nothing engaging or notable about them. Aesthetically as well, there's a lot wrong with the tracks. Take a look at this. Why are there so many duplicates of Squidward's house here? It's not like they're referencing that one episode with the place with all the identical looking houses that Squidward moves into. That episode aired like 3 years after this game came out or something. This was just laziness. In fact, this is probably the laziest game I've ever played. This has as much content as a crappy Flash game on miniclip.com. It has no thought put into it, it has very few characters, and its music and graphics are so poorly thrown together. This game would not even be able to satiate its intended audience of children. Kids are pretty easy to impress, but I'm willing to bet they'll put this game down almost immediately. One final thing. Look at Tommy's fucking face. We don't need to continue anymore. Speaking of Nicktoons, here's SpongeBob's very first video game. Ever. March 2001. Yeah, he was in Nicktoons Racing before this, but this is his first original game. Legend of the Lost Spatula. Alright, so right off the bat, I need to say this. I don't understand what it is with shovelware platformers on the Game Boy Color, but they always seem to have some of the worst controls I've ever had to deal with. SpongeBob's jumps are so heavy and impossible to steer. That and attacking is cumbersome, not just due to the controls, but also due to, I don't know, this game being like utter trash. The bubbles SpongeBob blows to attack float up. They float up and away. Up, and away. What the fuck design choice is that? I've heard of projectiles going over small enemies, but in this game, they took it to the next level. Your weapon just gives up halfway. It becomes sentient and says, nah, fuck this. Also, when you die in this game, you get naked. Yeah. I mean, as unplayable as this game is, and with the level design not adapting well to how SpongeBob controls or how when you jump you can't see anything below you, the levels are faithful to the source material, and for SpongeBob's first video game, this is actually really cool. You can walk around Bikini Bottom and talk to all the familiar residents. The writing doesn't feel like the show at all, but regardless, it's a great first attempt at adapting the show. Not gameplay-wise, god no, but in terms of presentation, yeah. Even the music is super catchy. It just makes me want to dance. This is the best game I've ever played. Next up is another licensed game. This one in particular, some of you may know. It's Toy Story 2 on the Game Boy Color. Oh god, what is this wretched imagery? This is already off to a beautiful start. Okay, so fuck everything I said about Legend of the Lost Spatula. What in Satan's fiery anus are these controls? The run button is the same as the jump button. What sane person would ever think that is a good idea? It makes platforming especially awkward. I can't stand it. When Buzz needs to attack, he stops, and then he shoots, shattering any momentum you may have going. I'll admit though, if there's one thing I do admire, it's the attempt at creating dynamic momentum-based platforming. Buzz has actual weight to him, and his running speed, trajectory, and more can affect his distance and height in his jumps. But unfortunately, the controls ruin the whole experience. Other than that, there's not much else to say other than the game staying true to its source material and pretty catchy music. Oh, and this. This always made me laugh. But despite what I may have said at the end there, this game is still not good, at all. The level design is a complete cluster of nonsense. The controls completely dash any hope I had of this game being decent. In fact, that proves my point further with shovelware Game Boy platformers controlling like shit. Believe it or not, bad controls can ruin an entire game. Okay, so we've covered nothing but bad games up to this point. Is there anything good we can talk about from the bargain bin? Actually, there is one game. Toki Tori was the one and only bargain bin game I ever received that was actually good. Excellent, in fact. Now, when you hear the name Toki Tori, you'll probably think of that game you keep seeing on Steam for like $1. That is actually the remake of this game. I've not played the remake, nor have I played... Whoa, wait a minute, they made a sequel? Holy crap, that's awesome! Looks like this little guy got some new recognition after all. I'll play both of them one day due to how often they go on sale, but for now, I'll stick to the original game, which I've been playing since a year or so after it released. Toki Tori is a puzzle game in which you have to save your unborn brothers and sisters from the clutches of evil. As a cute little baby chick, your movement is limited. You can't jump very high or move very fast. Thus, you'll need to use your brain in order to collect all the eggs in the level. You can also use items to help you solve puzzles. You can build bridges, teleport, or use a motherfucking ice bazooka. Be careful when planning out your route though. You have a limited amount of uses most of the time for each item, and you can get stuck if you aren't thinking straight. If at first you don't succeed though, try again. The puzzles in this game are really fun to solve, and this game is perfect for a portable console. Toki Tori is an excellent game, and one I would highly recommend trying for yourself. I never played the other games in the series, so I can really only recommend you this game right here. It kicks ass, and it was refreshing to talk about it in this video. Yes, believe it or not, this was a bargain bin game. And technically, due to how much the new games go on sale, I guess Toki Tori still is a bargain bin game. But you know what? This is a 1 in a million kind of game. It actually is worth your time. Among all of the shit in the bargain bin, this is actually a good game. I've been dying to talk about it in some form. Maybe I'll do a full-length review of Toki Tori in the future? Who knows? But we can't end it there. There's one more game that has become rather infamous recently thanks to Vinesauce. This is the Game Boy Color version of Razor Freestyle Scooter. Initially a ripoff of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for the PS1, this game was adapted onto the Game Boy Color to make a quick buck. Let's scoot the burbs, everyone. Okay, so despite the controls being a little awkward, collision detection being wonky, and the trick department being very lacking, I don't think this game is all that bad. It's still not a good game, don't get me wrong, but it's not awful. I can say I enjoyed scooting the burbs a bit. I actually liked racking up points and collecting stuff. I was able to adapt to the controls pretty quickly, surprisingly. There's an aimlessness to this game, though, and it's pretty detrimental. The novelty of the game will run out very quickly due to the lack of tricks and not enough elements to keep the gameplay engaging. Whereas in its console counterpart, while it did rip off Tony Hawk completely, it still had combos, good stage design, and a vast amount of tricks. You can't really adapt these kinds of games well unless you know what you're doing, but hey, this isn't the worst thing I've ever played. Alright, time to buy me some new kicks! Just gotta... What? You wish?
But I just want the shoes. Why is the game mocking me so?
Oh, you're kidding. This can't be the only song they play. It sounds like an 8-bit version of some cheesy butt rock you'd hear in the late 90s and early 2000s. Oh my god, that's actually what it is! I won't play it here due to copyright, but A Story About Us is sublime. It's such a beautiful song. That isn't the only song they play, by the way. They play other 8-bit versions of cheesy butt rock. My favorite. Yes, I can afford stuff now. Yeah, you bet I will. Okay, that's a good stopping point. In conclusion, if you're a parent and you're seeking out games for your kid to play on the road, don't buy them several games for $3 each. Buy them one reasonably priced game like Kirby Planet Robobot or something. Almost all of these games will not leave a lasting impact. Regardless, I had a lot of fun sharing my experiences with these games I had growing up. I had to play them on road trips because my parents were always looking to provide me with entertainment for cheap. Luckily, later on, my mom realized what would be the smarter option. She bought me Super Mario World on the Game Boy Advance one year, and that lasted me not just the trip, but the whole summer. That was my first time experiencing Mario World, and I'll never forget the first time I hatched a Yoshi egg or took to the skies with a cape feather. But with a game like Nicktoons Racing on the Game Boy Color, I'm more likely to forget that I even owned the game to begin with. And with that, I've been Liam Triforce, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Hi there, thank you for watching my video. It means a lot to me. So yeah, these were all games that I owned growing up, and that my mom would buy me so that I'd have something to do on like long road trips. And ooh, just she wouldn't really buy me like she wouldn't really buy me Game Boy Advance games or the new Pokemon or something. She would come across some real gems of games from the bargain bin. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? Drinking too much water and burping. Nowadays, though, the bargain bin is actually home to, like, well, not for handhelds. Handhelds, it's still shit. But most of the console game bargain bins you'll see have, like, I've seen, like, Sonic Colors and Generations in there, and I've seen Monster Hunter Tri. That was one game I saw in there. Nowadays, you're better off with the newer Monster Hunters, but I'm surprised that was even there to begin with. I saw Anarchy Reigns there once, and I really wanted to fucking get it. It was like $10. I was like, fuck yeah! But, alas, I forgot my wallet at home. Either way, though, like, the handheld bargain bin is normally just shit. Like Cory in the House on DS. And actually, that is the best anime video game adaptation I've ever played. It captured Raven's death so accurately. It's the saddest part of the anime. So, one day they'll make a Seinfeld video game adaptation. Beautiful, beautiful. That's probably my favorite anime right there. Alright, anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching. See you later.